Welcome to the Tuning In podcast, where we talk alignment, intuition, and our internal guidance system. We cover woo-woo topics in an approachable and practical way. I'm your host, Dana Evans of Alignful.com. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Tuning In podcast. This is episode 86. And today I'm just going to talk briefly about something that I experienced this weekend and wanted to share as a way to help you see this within yourself and catch it, and also as just a way for me to process, because I haven't been able to describe it very well. And sometimes when I podcast and share openly with you all, it helps me understand and also make things more clear. So this weekend, I don't know if any of you do this, but every weekend I tend to make a very extensive list of all the things. Like sometimes work is on there, but I've gotten a lot better at not expecting myself to work on the weekends, because anytime I put work on the task list for the weekend, I never feel like doing it. And then I feel badly that I haven't done it. And it creates this whole cycle, right? So at least I mostly know now that I don't like to work on the weekends. Some people do. And I'm like, go for it. But I don't like putting that expectation on myself. So my weekends become this cycle of being tired, wanting to relax, wanting to clean and or organize or do house things like house cleaning projects, and or groceries, food, meal prep. So that's kind of what my weekends usually entail. And some weekends I put more expectation upon myself, and some weekends I put less. And just to know, I am aware that all of this is what I put on myself. John lately has been working a lot on the weekend, so he's just like in the office doing his thing. And then I create a very elaborate expectation and work plan for myself that I usually proceed to then not follow through because I'm tired and I want to rest. So this weekend was no different. And I wrote this beautiful list on a notepad that was like all the things. And the reason, I don't know if this has anything to do with being a projector, but what happens is if I wake up on Saturday and I have energy, this is an exciting thing. And so if I have the energy, I then make a list of all the things I want to accomplish with this level of energy. But knowing myself to be a projector, I can often have inconsistent access to energy. And I have a lot of energy spikes and lows. Just because I have that energy when I wake up, it doesn't mean I'm going to have that all day, all weekend. But I place expectations upon myself based on the level of energy I wake up with. So this weekend, I woke up on Saturday. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have energy. Let's do this. I made this list. I went on a walk. I told my magical morning partner, Candace, who, by the way, is on next week's episode of the podcast. It's such a good episode. I told her about all the things I was going to do, and I was going to clean the garage and sell everything in the garage, and I was going to clean every part of the house, and I was going to grocery shop, and I was going to meal plan, I was going to clean the fridge and wash me as a litter station. Oh my gosh, I have so many things. I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. Okay, go on a walk. Meanwhile, it's also really hot. And I definitely have trouble adjusting to when it gets hot again, and I'm like 80s. Okay, 75, 80 is hot for me. When it gets hot again, I struggle to adapt. And so then I get really hot and tired, just like Mia. Mia has been just like sprawled out on the floor on her cardboard because she's like, I can't do life right now. That's how I feel. So went on this beautiful walk and had this great conversation with my mom, and then hung up with her. And I was like, man, I feel weirdly inspired, like out of character, inspired to work. And I had a couple work projects that I had on my plate, and I just kept pushing them off. And all of a sudden I was excited and I wanted to do it. And one of the things is I'm creating this client portal. So for my one-to-one clients, we do I give them like a Google Drive that has their recordings and any other things that come through. But I found that I have so many resources that I want to share with my clients, but I don't want to have to keep like randomly sharing them with random people or having to like repeat every single resource. And so with Kimi, I came up with this idea of creating a client portal. So all my one-to-one clients get access to this portal. And she had tasked me with, okay, well, what do you want in there? Like, how do you want it laid out? And then let's look at the client journey, because I created this like flow chart of when we're working together, because, you know, we do really deep work in the insight one-to-one coaching. Like, what's the process? So all of a sudden I had energy to do this. And I was so excited. So I told John, I was like, I'm putting my noise canceling headphones on. I'm going to rock out to Jay-Z and I'm just doing this. And so I put my headphones on and I just was like, and just type. All these ideas were flowing through. I had all this clarity. I was so excited and it was easy and effortless. Boom. That thing that had been on my list for weeks that I was kicking and screaming about doing just was done. And it felt easy and fun and enjoyable. And I think I spent maybe 2 hours on that. So then, guess what, guys? I was tired. All that energy that I had and I was excited about got spent on my walk, talking to my mom for an hour, and then doing 2 hours of work. And then I thought, oh no, my energy's gone. No, like my fellow projectors, you know what I mean. Like all of a sudden it's just gone and you're like, no, come back. I miss you. Please, I have more I want to do. And I was just mourning my energy. And I thought, well, okay. I mean, I literally just couldn't. I'm like, I can't clean the house. I just can't. I cannot do this right now. I don't want to. I'm tired. I'm a little cranky now. I'm hot. And it's just, I can't do it. So what did I do? I made popcorn. So I have been making, if this sounds good to you, you have to try this. I have been making my own kettle corn at home. So John and I love making popcorn, but mostly him. But I started wanting kettle corn. So I put coconut oil, like a 1/4 cup coconut oil, in my big Le Creuset 8-quart cast iron. Then once it's hot enough, I add a 1/3 cup of kernels. Here, I'm just giving you the recipe. I add a 1/3 cup of kernels. And I add 2 tablespoons of sugar. And I've used this with dark brown regular sugar. And I've also done coconut sugar. I think it would probably work great with white sugar. I just don't have any at the house. Oh, and I add salt, like probably 2 teaspoons of salt. And then put the cover on, go and shake until all the kernels pop. And then, you know, toward the end, I take it off the heat, leave the lid on to like steam it. It makes the kernels even more fluffy. And then take the lid off, and then I toss in some melted butter and just like toss that in with a little bit more salt. Oh my gosh. It is so addicting. It is so delicious. Homemade kettle corn. It's so easy. So I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I'm going to make kettle corn. So I made kettle corn, sat down on the couch, and let me tell you, y'all, I was really frustrated because I wanted to relax and I was tired, but it is hard for me to relax in mess. So John is different. Like he can work in mess. Like you should see his desk. Like he can have like just all this crap on his desk and just be focused. He can have all this stuff in our office. It's all a mess and he's just focused on his work and it doesn't bother him. Like I don't even know if he notices. Like it just doesn't bother him. Doesn't affect his ability to work or relax. For me, typically to fully relax, like I like to have the house clean and then relax. It's not because I've earned the relaxation so much, though, you know, that feels good. It's more that my, you know, peripheral, my vision, if I see neatness, I feel like, oh, it's okay. I can relax. And that's why I like to have a made bed, right? That's why I like the office picked up. That's why I like I just need things clean. Okay. This is how I am. It's very, very important to me that my space looks beautiful. And when it's not, I can tolerate it. And I honor, I'm like, okay, I don't always have to be obsessive about it, which I used to be obsessive. So I'm more chill about it now. But on days like yesterday, when I was so tired and wanted to relax, it was very hard to allow myself to relax in the mess. But I did it. The kitchen was a mess. The dining room table was a mess, and that was my fault. That was all my boxes and packages. The living room wasn't very clean. Stuff wasn't vacuumed. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do this. So I sat down on the couch with my kettle corn and my Olipop soda water and turned on a movie. And then when that movie ended, I turned on another movie. And when that movie ended, I turned on another movie. And what movies did I watch? Okay, I don't remember any of them except I watched Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey. Oh my gosh, that movie holds up. It was so good. And it has such a good message because he's talking basically before he becomes God, he is complaining about everything that life hands him. And he's like a total victim to life. And he thinks everything's a problem and he hates it all. And then after he becomes God and then realizes that he's selfish, he realizes that with the exact same life circumstances, I don't know if this message is lost on people who watch this, but at the end of the movie, he has the exact same life circumstances. He just chooses to enjoy them and see them through those eyes, which after that movie, I came and told John about how great the message is in that movie. And he said, why? And I was like, well, here's why. I was so excited to analyze it. Such a good movie. So that was one of the movies I watched. And then did I make dinner? I don't even remember, guys. No, I think I that was Friday. I think I made dinner. I made a simple dinner and a cocktail and went to bed. It was such a wonderful evening. Now, here's the thing though. So that's like on the surface. That's what happened. At one point, I walked into the bathroom, which wasn't very cleaned up. And it was later in the day and I'd been watching movies and it felt so good in the moment because let me tell you, this has taken me so long of like deconditioning and really not attaching my worth to the output that I do. This has been this huge journey for me, as you know. But so now I'm really good, right? I'm more comfortable just doing nothing, especially on the weekends. I didn't used to operate like this. Like my weekends used to be very full and very productive. And now I've gotten much better at and much more comfortable at not doing on the weekends. So that's great. So like I got over that. Like I used to, if I did not do anything, then I would feel guilty about it the whole time. Now I cannot do anything and feel fine. And of course, notice here what's coming up is that I'm saying I didn't do anything on Saturday. But the funny thing is, like, I actually had a really, quote, good and productive morning. Like I had a really good conversation with my mom. Like we did catch up, which is important. I went on a nice long walk, which is like exercise and movement and sunshine. That was important. And then I did 2 hours of work in my business. But here, even as I'm retelling the story, I'm aware of my categorization of Saturday as I did nothing. Right? This is what this work is about, is we have to be able to witness and catch ourselves in our thought processes. And that's actually the story that I'm here to tell you, which I haven't even gotten to yet. I'm just like laying the foundation. But I'm just aware now as I retell the story, I still am framing it as I did nothing. In fact, I'm framing the whole weekend as I did nothing, but you'll hear that that's not true. And that's my narrative. So my coach, Lauren Armstrong, on our very last coaching call, the last time, she pointed out to me, because I was talking about, some client work in this and how just things in my life happened. I said, I didn't feel like I didn't do anything. She said, notice that narrative. Notice how many times you say, I didn't do anything. And I was like, oh. And I had this conversation with someone else the other day who her story is, I'm not doing enough. And I pointed out and reflected that it's so interesting is I'm not doing enough and I didn't do anything, I think are two sides of the same coin, right? They're both attached to this idea that the effort and the active doing is what makes something or someone valuable. I don't have this I didn't do enough story narrative at all. Like that doesn't really come up for me, but I didn't do anything is constant. And the funniest part is, if you want to look at this through human design, I'm a 2-4 projector, and the 2-4 profile they call the easy breezy genius, which literally is the energy there is things come effortlessly to you, and the things that are the least effortful to you are actually the things that you're most skilled at and that people need most from you. But you don't value them because they've come naturally and they're easy to you, but they're not easy to everyone else. So actually by not doing anything, by not having to like overcompensate and like learn a ton and like make it hard, it's actually when I'm most in my element. Isn't that interesting? So again, it's so great to have people in your life that you can talk to this stuff about and who point your stuff out, because I was really not aware of that storyline if I didn't do anything. So coming back to Saturday, and I had done that morning, and then I had watched a couple movies, and I was up and going in like through my master bath, and I caught myself. It was the most subtle, quiet thought. Because like I said, wasn't actively feeling guilty about the day. Like I was annoyed that I didn't have energy to do more. Like I wanted to clean the house, but I was like, I just don't have the energy. So I'm just going to watch movies and not do anything. I heard, I'm bad. What? I'm bad. That is what was beneath the surface. And it literally stopped me in my tracks. I was like, whoa, did I really just hear that? I'm bad. And it pulled me all the way back to this idea of what I've really been intentionally moving through and deconditioning from is this idea of my value, my goodness as a human, as a person, my worthiness is tied to my doing. And here I've made it. I've done so much, right? I've done so much to undo this conditioning. But really, there's been so much unlearning and deconditioning and softening into this new way of being. And I was feeling really pretty good about it. Still am, of how far I've come. And then there it was. I'm bad. I thought, well, this is different because that is internalized completely. Like John doesn't think I'm bad. He's not saying, oh, you're a bad person. You didn't clean the house. Like like I said, he doesn't care if there's mess all around him. Like it doesn't affect him. It's all me internalized. My parents, I'm grateful to have not grown up with parents who guilt me or shame me or make me feel bad. So that wasn't part of my narrative. And even I was reflecting, like growing up, like my parents never made me feel bad, or my brother, for like just hanging out on the couch, like watching TV. Like it just wasn't part of my upbringing. And there it was though, I'm bad. And I thought, wow. So that's underneath all of this is I'm bad. Like, isn't that such a child thing? So then you think, okay, this is internalized. Is there a nurture part, right? How was I raised? And I was talking to my mom about this the other day and telling her how that came up and how I never felt like they made me feel bad about that type of thing. And she reminded me of this story that she loves to tell. I have always been afraid of being bad. And this is definitely a storyline that I have. Like, I'm always afraid, like, if I'm in a store that they're going to think I'm stealing or like if I'm working for someone that they're going to think I'm not, I'm like cheating them. Like there's this weird storyline that is attached to guilt and being seen as bad that definitely is woven through my life. And a lot of I'm a great employee because I don't want to be bad. And so I want to be good and the best. And so I overcompensate because of this internal narrative, which I'm like, whoa, okay, see, I'm actively processing this deal. It showed up in this like moment of calm of a really wonderful day. But now I can see how it's shown up in other parts of my life. And my mom was saying, there's this great story. Like I was always afraid of getting in trouble. And my parents were just like the nicest people. Like we just like didn't get in trouble. We really didn't. And like when I was really young and in a car seat, and if I like peed my pants, mom would say, Dana, did you pee? No, I'm just sweaty. I'd tell her I was sweating. because I didn't want to get in trouble. Like, my mom never yelled at me for like peeing my pants. And then again, my parents like didn't have like a bunch of rules about like candy or anything like that. And my mom reminded me of this story when everyone was looking for me. They couldn't find me anywhere in the house. And then they found me hiding behind the curtains. So like the curtains on the sliding door, eating Smarties. Like, they thought the lump back there was the cat because the cat would always sit there. But no, it was me. And they opened it and I was so afraid. And like, Tana, what's wrong? And I was like, tried to hide the Smarties because I thought I was bad for wanting to eat Smarties. I don't know. I was like really young. My mom's like, Tana, you can eat Smarties. It's okay. So then, it's so funny because where did that story come from? Is this like a past life? Is this generational? Like, where is that? And it wasn't really nurtured by my parents. Like, they didn't tell me I was bad, and then my entire life I've been good. Like, I can tell you, like, there's very few times that I did something, quote, bad. And they've scarred me, truthfully. Like, I can pull up 3 of them right now that were like really painful for me. And they, in the grand scheme of life, they were really just not that bad, but it was because I was seen as bad. And so here we are, I'm 33, doing this big experiment, and this is my own life. And I thought, I'm bad. Like, how crazy that I am not willing to allow myself to just chill for a day. Like, this is totally me. Like, the story is, if I don't do something all day on Saturday that's productive and important or valued or perceived as such, then I'm bad. And this is not okay. And how sad is that? Like, how sad is that that's how I see myself unconsciously? It's very unconscious. I didn't actively feel bad, but there it was. And so I'm processing this. And the reason I'm sharing it with you is our thoughts, and Candace and I actually talk about this on next week's episode, but our thoughts are so important. And our subconscious programming is so important because it is what we operate from, right? 95% or more of how we operate is subconscious, and it's like programmed into us. It's a belief, it's an identity that we operate from. And so I've done so much work, which is amazing. And then I still see, oh, this is deep. This is deep, 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 because now I can see all the areas in my life that this I'm bad, or this fear of being perceived as bad, has shown up. Like, I don't want to be bad. I don't want to do bad things. And that's interwoven in my life and consequentially into my subconscious programming. So, I mean, this is the work I do with my clients, right? Of course, I have to do my own work. I work. This is why I work with coaches. This is why I work with, I have so many friends that are coaches that will like help me see this in myself, but also your own awareness is so valuable, because I don't know that I necessarily could have told someone else that. I had to catch myself in that. I was so unaware that was still there. And to be able to witness yourself, to be present, right? This was a moment of quiet. It was a really quiet day. This was quiet. I was by myself and I was like, whoa, hello, there you are. And then to have compassion and allow for that. Because now we can't change what we're not aware of. And now I see, wow, that's there. So now I get to work with it. I get to process it. I get to decondition that storyline. I get to release it. I get to talk to coaches about it, do subconscious reprogramming, right? All the things. So I can let it go. I don't need that anymore. I don't want it. I don't want to feel bad for doing nothing, right? For, quote, doing nothing. And the funny thing is, so I caught that, I processed it, and I'm like, wow. So now I'm so aware of it. And then on Sunday, I woke up with energy again. And I grocery shopped. I did my meal plan for the week. I grocery shopped, picked up new litter for Mia, and cleaned out my fridge. If you saw that on Instagram at Dana_Evans, I showed you my fridge flex and prepped all these vegetables, made hummus. Oh my gosh, it was like such a great day. And that's enjoyable for me. And then I got tired again. I was like, oh no, now I can't clean the whole house. And then we're almost done. So I said, well, I'm too tired to clean the house. And it was like 4 p.m. and I'd done so much with meal prepping, but the house still wasn't clean. And I'm like, man, this is just this consistent thing. Like, it is exhausting for me because I need it to clean and I don't have the energy. And it's like the deep cleaning. I want it vacuumed. I want all the surfaces cleaned. I want the toilets cleaned. And then I can maintain that. So then yesterday I had this podcast episode with Candace, which is next week's episode. And she was talking about, Eckhart Tolle says, and Abraham Hicks talks about this too. Like, if there's something you don't like, one, can you do something about it? If so, do something about it. If not, you need to accept it and or change how you see it. It's pretty simple. Otherwise, you're just resisting what is and complaining about it. And I realized this thing that is eating away at me every single weekend is the house. And I'm always upset about, I'm always uptight about, I'm always trying to fit in cleaning the house, deep cleaning with the other things. Like, I want to clean the porch. I want to clean the garage. I want to organize under my sink again. I can't do it all. I neither have the energy nor the time nor the desire to do all of that. And so this morning I woke up and my house is still not fully clean. And I'm like, okay, can I do something about this? And the answer is yes. There's 3 things I can do. I can either just decide to prioritize cleaning the house and putting quite a bit of hours every week into that. If I don't do that, I can just accept that it's not going to be clean and change the way I see that, which I've been trying to do. And it's just, I really care that it's clean. So that's not the answer. And then guess what? There's another option. Hire a cleaning company who I used to have. We had a cleaning company for years, but then I got rid of them and then COVID hit and I was like, no, I can do this by myself. And I have for over almost 2 years now, or a year and a half. No, 2 years in December. So yeah, a year and a half, I have been cleaning the house by myself. And then John does some of it, but it's just it really matters to me. So I definitely spearhead that. And this morning I was like, you know what? I'm exhausted from this and I'm going to hire a company. So I went back to the company that I have used before. They do a great job. They're a clean cleaning business. So they use safe products, actually safe products, not Method. By the way, Method is not a safe cleaning product, just so you know. Even though they branded it that way, neither is Mrs. Meyer's. To be clear, not safe, not a clean product. But they actually use clean, non-toxic, biodegradable, pet-friendly products. And they do such an amazing job. And so this morning, I put an email into them to get a quote for them to come just once a month. That's all I need. And they're going to do all the deep work. They're going to clean on top of the fans. They're going to vacuum. They're going to mop the floors. They're going to clean the toilets and the shower and the sinks. Oh my God. And then I can maintain it in between. And I think the crazy thing is just by taking that step, I'm actually going to release partially that story of I'm bad because the things that I care about will be done. And I don't feel guilty about hiring that out. It feels great. It's just that I realize now that much of the I'm bad story, it is this internal narrative and it's based on expectations that I put on myself and don't meet. So I'm doing it all. So I'm putting an expectation on myself based on an inconsistent energy that I have. And then if I get tired and I don't meet the expectation, then I'm bad. Even though I'm not willing to be good, if good means to go against my energy, right? Because my energy and my alignment is actually more important to me than being good or bad, right? Obviously, I don't think of myself as good or bad, but in the terminology of my subconscious mind. So that's more important. So I'm not actually willing to go against my alignment to feel good. So then I end up allowing myself to subconsciously feel bad. So by taking the expectation away, and changing, right, doing something about the situation, consequently, I am able to release part of that story. What? This is the power of awareness, y'all. This is the shit. This is why, nothing matters and everything matters, right? Because the thoughts you think and the things you tell yourself repeatedly and the old storylines that you're completely unaware of, they're dictating how you live and feel and act and what you believe about yourself. And it is worth it to slow down. It is worth it to look at yourself. It is worth it to go there. Even the really dark, uncomfortable things, we've got to shine the light on them. This is the only way we can start operating from a different mode of being. So that's my story, is also, as you know, the work I do with my clients. And this is my insight one-to-one coaching. We can do 1 month to start, but usually I do it in 3 or 6 months. And it is we go there and we catch all of these storylines and all of these subconscious and unconscious thoughts so that you can see them. And once you see them, you can choose, do I want to still believe this? Or do I want to do something about it? Is this serving me? And if it's not, we go through a process to let it go. We find the old trapped emotions that are holding on. Oh, it's so good. And it's everywhere, And I'm consistently doing this for myself. I do it with my clients. It's so powerful. So all that is to say, I'm grateful for this work. I'm grateful for my own level of awareness. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, you're holy moly, where did that come from? How is that even there? It's like when you find mold in your house, right? It's oh my God, I didn't see it, but it was there and it's been affecting me, right? It's the stuff beneath the surface. And that's where I love to go. That's where I love to explore. So all that being said, if you're ever interested in working one-to-one on this stuff for yourself, let me know. Send me an email, dana@alignful.com. You know where to find me on Instagram at Dana_Evans. Otherwise, and more importantly, I just hope this story helps you build your own awareness, right? You can do this for yourself. You can build your own awareness. That's the first step of all of it. Then the other work, to go deeper, often it's nice to have someone there to support and guide that. But just building your own awareness is going to be a powerful tool for your own transformation. With that, thank you as always for tuning in, and catch us next week. I am interviewing Candace James. She just released a book that's called Get Out of Your Head and Into Your Life, a guide for thriving in the modern world. And I'm so excited for you to hear all of her wisdom too about working with the mind and how to release some of the stuff that comes up. So have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tuning In podcast. As always, if this would resonate with anyone you know, please share the episode. You can follow along with my journey on Instagram at Dana_Evans, or find me on my website at alignful.com.